So now we're gonna create a first example of a code for something that we need. Since we already added a collection here earlier, we wanna create a search functionality, which is the most basic stuff. I'm gonna add a small section right here. And we already have this. This is a repeater. As you can see here, it's a repeater. That's the type of element. And then what I need is an input, right? So again, I'm gonna act as if I'm completely new. I don't know anything about coding, any of that stuff. So I'm gonna show you exactly how I would do it. First, I wanna work on my design, right? So I need a place or a box where people can type. So I'm gonna drag this element right here. And then, of course, I don't want it to say email, so I can just delete that. And then right here, we're gonna minimize this. And then I can just type search here, okay? And I have my element right there. We're gonna add a button because let's say I wanna use a button. Now, again, if you don't wanna use a button, you don't have to, but you can do pretty much anything now. You don't depend on a developer or a designer, so you can literally do whatever you like. We're gonna find a button here. We're gonna add this one just because it looks nice, and we can also change it to search. Okay, so now we have our input, text input in our button. So we're gonna open this. The way I'm gonna teach you, since you're gonna be coding or doing custom functionality, anytime you add an element, change the ID that it is easy to recognize what it's for. And the reason why you wanna do it as you're adding the element is because it will save you a lot of time. Right now, we're just handling 2 elements, but imagine once you do a form that has 20, 30 input elements or different type of buttons, it's gonna get messy. So for you to easily recognize things, which we're gonna be doing, again, even though you're not technically learning how to code, you're gonna start understanding what everything is. So it's gonna make it very easy. So on this one, we're gonna name it search input. And normally I would do one word lowercase and start with the capital case for the next one so I can easily read it. And then for buttons, I normally like to use btn, so I can do search btn like that, so I know it's a button. But again, you can use your own terms. Sorry about the noise, some car drove by really loud. Okay, so now we have our 2 elements, and then we have our collection name. So we're gonna go here. First, I'm gonna copy my my element. So I'm gonna go here, and I'm gonna use the regular GPT because I'm not sure if you're gonna be upgrading or not. So if you upgrade, then just use your own agent. But if not, if you're using the free version, then just start with create a Velo by Wix code. I have an input element ID. So as you can see here, the way I tell the AI what it is, I'm telling that it's an input element, and I can be very specific. I have an input or text. Let's see what it's called. Text input. Okay, a text input element ID. And then the ID is, I just do Control-C on my computer, copy, and then paste. Don't click enter while you're doing this because it's gonna let the thing run, and then you're gonna be having to retype everything. Then normally I will separate it by a comma. I also have a button element ID. Then I go here, find my ID here, copy that, paste it, and I want people, You can say people, you can say users, clients, because it will recognize. I want people when they type in the input element to search. In this case, you're using your own terms of your own words. The AI, once it starts explaining to you, is going to give you the actual terms, and that's how you're also going to start learning as well. To search my collection name. So we're going to find the name of our collection. And then we go to the edit settings, projects, copy, and then paste it right there. And then separate with a comma. In the field ID, so then I want to go inside my collection now, and I wanted to search inside the title. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to find the field ID, it's title. Okay. And we're going to be doing different things right now, but at least this is kind of an overall example of how it looks like once you're creating something. Also, I want to be able to search inside the field ID. And then let's find another one, which let's say we're gonna use short description. Okay, so I can click here, edit, short description, and then close that, and then paste it. So the search needs to happen once they click the button, and that's it. But I almost forgot something very important. Now it's going to do all of this, but what does it have to do with your other stuff? Where is the results going to be displaying, right? So you want to go find here. Let's say you have a gallery that you want to display this results. In this case, we have a repeater. And the repeater is very useful because it allows you to add text, descriptions, and image. So the first thing is, okay, this is already connected to a data set. But what if you didn't have it connected to a data set? Then if you didn't have it, the AI is going to tell you need to do this next steps. In this case, what you normally want to do is find if it's connected to a data set, if it is, right? Or if you're connecting it, to save you time instead of having to add, because you could also tell the AI, hey, I have a repeater. Inside the repeater, I have an image, and I have a text, and I have another description. And then you have to add all those elements, so you don't need to technically connect it to a data set. That's going to be the beauty of creating your own code, is that you're not going to be limited to the data set, because the data set only forces you to connect to specific elements. But once you're coding, everything should be very easy to do. So to connect with any type of elements. So for now, we're going to go with it's connected to a data set. So when I click on here, I'm going to go here and I see the ID is the data set here. And I'm going to find the repeater. So the repeater ID is repeater 1. So I'm going to change it to repeater results. Okay. So let's make this go higher. I'm going to copy here. And then I'm going to I want the results to display in my repeater ID, and I place it. This repeater is connected to the dataset ID, and I'm gonna go find the ID of my dataset, dynamic dataset. Okay. Now let's assume, because again we're talking about you're very new. Now, if you're very advanced, then you can already click enter and you can fix things. But let's say you're very new on this, and then you're not sure it should be connected or not. Then you can say, should I keep the data set connected Should I keep the repeater actually? Repeater connected to the data set, or do I need to disconnect it? Let me know, or just create the code. So you can also add your own questions here because maybe you're just not sure, and then we'll just click enter. And then it tells you, yes, you can keep the repeater connected to the data set and dynamically filters the data set based on the user's input. Here's the Velo code. So as you can see here, now it's telling you the steps. Ensure your data set is connected to the projects collection, which it is, right? So this is the data set and it's under projects. And then it tells you like add a text input, search input for users to type the query, which we already have. And then add the button we already have, and then ensure the repeater it's with this ID. So we have all of that, and then it tells you what it's going to do, and then the notes. So we'll just grab our code now, copy. We go here. Your pages, normally whenever you add a new page, it automatically has this bunch of code. You can just delete it, and then now we can just paste the code. So now you have the code right here. We can test it. I'm gonna click preview. And then we're gonna make sure if this panel is minimized, you wanna open it. So that way you'll see that the code is working. So we can try project name 6. Project name 6, right? And then I can click search. And then it says it was successfully filtered. But I don't see any results. So why? What happened, right? So this is where we're gonna do, let's say just project 6, and then click search. And it just tells me that it was filtered, but it's not showing anything. So what we do here is, this is where we're gonna troubleshoot. Because again, you run into this, so you might run into these problems. So what you wanna do is you can just copy this, and then go back here and tell it what happened. So you're gonna notice it says developer console. So we're gonna type on the developer console, it shows this, that, and then, but the repeater disappears after I click the search button. So it disappears, and I click enter. So it's gonna tell you, okay, try this. So when the repeater disappears after clicking the search button, it usually means the dataset filter is returning no results. This could be due to the filter not matching any items in the project. So it's kind of telling you like what you need to look for. Make sure that the field ID is correct, which if we go back to the settings here, we can go on here under projects, and then you can always make sure, because it can happen, even if you're an expert, you might miss or you might have misspelled this, so you check all your field IDs are correct. So the projects collection, and then you click the manage fields, so it tells you, okay, test the filter without the user input. So you can just copy this, right? And then it tells you if the repeater still disappears, double click, and it tells you that. But now let's say it gives you 3 different codes. So this is confusing. So what you want to do is say, you gave me 3 different codes. How do I add them? How do I add them? Or give me the full updated code. So because this could be something that you're like, okay, so what do I do with all of this, right? So here it tells you, okay, it handles the empty. So it's gonna give you a full code instead, because the reason why it's giving you parts of it is because it wants you go in the code, find that section and replace it with these parts that it give you. But let's say you're a new person, this might get into something super complicated and you're gonna be like, what happened, right? So as you can see here, it's telling you it handles the empty results, and now it's gonna give you a no results message and includes debug logs. So it's gonna add some extra stuff. So here it tells you what it needs to do, what's gonna happen if there's no results, and then clears the filter. Okay, so let's copy this code one more time, and then we're gonna delete this, and then it's right there. So now you're gonna notice it's giving you an error right here. One very easy thing, because this is something that you're gonna start noticing right away. You have two things. You can go back here and read what you need to do, right? So if we go under here, see, it's not even telling you that you need to add a text, but as you're gonna start going through creating your own codes, anytime you see the hashtag before a text, that means that it's an element that it's missing. So as you can see here, it tells you this ID, an element with the ID no results does not exist on the page. That means the AI gave you a new text, right? So there's two ways on how you can handle this. I can add a text here, and then I can name it no results. So let me change the size of this. I'm gonna turn it to 14. Okay, and then I can change the ID to no results message. Okay, and then I can just change it here to no results. And that's one way to do it. The other is I can go back and tell it like, hey, I don't want to have a no result message, so update the code. And you should update your code to not have a text. But in this example, we're just gonna go for it, and we're gonna type again, let's say project name 06, project name 06, and then I'm gonna click enter, and now it found the result. So as you can see here now, it's working. So it tells you it found one. But again, what if I think this is just too complicated? The reason why sometimes I don't like having a button is because I don't want to have people getting no results because they're just not typing it exactly the way it is, right? So I'm gonna go back here and tell it, update the code to find results even if it's not the full sentence in the field ID, let's say title, right? Why I want to do that is because let's say on this part right here, I don't want it to tell me that there's no results if I type only the word project or the word name, right? So I can copy this and then go back here and say the word title. Everything else was working correctly. Be on the last code. I also want to let it know that it was working correctly because I don't want it to create something completely different because it didn't know if it worked or not. So I'm also specifying the last code did work, but this is what I wanted to happen. So now it's telling me, okay, this is what it's gonna do. So it's gonna start telling me what it's gonna import the data from Wix data. Then on click for the search button right here, you can see it's either gonna find a result, and if it doesn't find any is gonna show the no results, but if it finds it, it's gonna hide it. It's gonna go through the data set to set the filter, and then pretty much it's gonna give you this error or not. We're gonna copy this one more time. We're gonna go here and let's delete all this code again. We're gonna paste it. Okay. So first you wanna expand, make sure that there's no errors. If you see an error, you wanna tell the AI what the error was. So we're gonna preview one more time. And as you can see right here, we're just gonna type name, see what it shows. So if I type name and search, it did find 6 results. Now if I just type project, and then it found 6 results, right? So what if I only type 05? So it should only give me a result. There you go. So as you can see here, now I can delete it. But now what's happening is I deleted it and I don't see anything. So I want to go back to the AI and tell it, if the user clears the search, I want to see all the items again. Update the code. Because, right, if we try right now, I have to either type again, click search, and I will find it, but now it looks like empty. So we don't want that. So I wanted that anytime I go back to display the whole results. So I'm gonna go back here. And let's see here. Again, if you need to skip a little bit, feel free to do it. But again, this is like just the basics. We're gonna be doing some cool stuff shortly. So thank you for being patient. And let's delete this part right here. So we're gonna paste it right there. Now we can test this. And let's see, perfect. So as you can see right now, it's telling you the code is running for the projects. So if I type 05 and I click search, now I have it there. But if I delete based on the new code, now I see all the results. So I can just type project 06. It should give me a result, right? In right now, it didn't give me any results. So why is that? Do I have a project 06? Oh yeah, I do have. Oh no, it's because I type it project 06. If I would have typed name 06, so I'll just do name 06. Yeah. So you can do a combination with that. If I just type project, it should show me everything. Search. Here you go. And then if I delete it, it should just shows all the items. As you can see here at the bottom, it resets the data set. So now you'll see this is very simple. We created a search functionality all using AI.